Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Anything Wrestling Podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. We are back here today with another episode. We got another triple threat going. It is the Sean to Dan the
How
Man.
now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
Commish, we're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Commish. I am the advocate. I am the one. And I'm going on one versus one on one.
Was that four people? Who's the fourth man?
I said I'm the one on one going on one.
On one.
So you're going one on one with the great one.
With the Shant one.
What about him?
Oh, he's in there too.
We'll figure this out later.
Okay.
I've lost all sanity.
I gotta do it again.
Yeah. So is WWE.
Are you pulling a wild card?
No, in this day and age, you pull one of those and you're causing so much calamity.
Man, I don't know. They need to not be bad at storytelling.
This is very true. Sponsors, gentlemen.
Brought to you by laundromats. Wash your clothes.
Also brought to you in part by gasoline cans. And you run on an empty. Just go along for the ride.
Well, I mean, speaking of mats and gasoline, you can catch all of Kane's favorite moments and matches only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
$9.99.
It's not $10,
It's not $1,000.
Not $1 million.
but $9.99.
Also brought to you in part by the forthcoming Instagram account, the Anything Wrestling Podcast 1. Yes, someone took the very first one.
Bastards.
But the page is in works and it's coming. Feel free to follow, like, subscribe. Hit that follow button.
Comment. Like comments.
Follow us so we can all be on the same page.
Hey, I have to sneak that in.
So, we are here today to talk about a very interesting tag team, if you can call it that. We are here to talk about, since they are quote-unquote retired, the career of the Bella Twins.
Now, would you say that they're the beginning of the evolution?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, WWE, CW. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm taking a survey here.
Hey, yo.
I was gonna say, is he alive back there? Would you guys say that the Bella Twins are the embodiment of the diva era? Because I feel like a couple years back when Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte came to the main roster, there was almost like this divide of women revolution and divas era.
Yeah. I would say that when because you asked, and I was trying to find another face to put as the spokesgirl, and I just can't think of anybody off the top of my head that really represents it as perfectly.
Yeah.
As those two do, because they'd been around a hot minute. They were the in your face. Oh, look at the sexy twins of the Divas era. They both were Divas champions, I believe. I think Brie won once.
Yeah, she did. It was very short notice, but she won.
And then we got here, where now you've got some legitimate people, but you had the transition. So, I'd say yeah.
Commish?
Well, I mean, they kind of staggered in right in the cross mix of, like, kind of change of the end of the Attitude, beginning of the PG era, but also still kind of transitioned in that, hey, you know, female wrestlers are one thing, but we are bringing in the sexy revolution of the Divas era to its full prominence at this point in time. I mean, at first, there was seen as, like, backstage segments or, like, hey, this is the current sexy merchandise you can purchase through WWEshop.com and all that. But then it slowly transitioned, like, we're more than just divas. We're more than just entertainers. We're actually, you know, a part of the WWE in representation of the females in wrestling. And yeah, at first a lot of people took them as like, oh yeah, you're wrestlers. Okay, that's cute.
I still take them as that.
Well, a lot of people do.
I do.
And then at one point, if you ask any female, some of them will be like, oh, they never represented us, or some will be like, no, they were the embodiment of a revolution. I don't know why I got so serious, but if I could be serious for a minute. I mean, I don't know. That's my interpretation of them, because honestly, like, I will give them credit where credit's due, but never really big fan of theirs personally. That's just my preference.
That's fair. So the Bella Twins burst onto the scene somewhere in 2008. And I think at first they were pulling that whole thing of like, there's only one of them, and then they would go under the ring and the other one would come out and finish the match. But then that got exposed as, oh crap, there's two of them. What did you guys first think when you saw like the Bella Twins or Nikki or Brie? What was there? First of all, could you guys tell them apart, and did they interest you in any way?
Early on, I think I could tell them apart. It was there were small differences originally, because I think that was before Nikki grew into herself. But because even now, like, Nikki's got, I think she has like a longer chin.
Really? I've never noticed that.
I think. And Brie's got sort of a narrower nose, and I think they even had some slight eyebrow differences back in the day. But it was just enough to be able to tell the difference. And I would almost say part of my ability to do that was the fact that when I was in school, like when I was in high school, we had a couple of groups of twins that it was that much of a difference, was this much. So you picked up on the intricacies to set them apart. So I was able to.
I mean, at first I couldn't tell, but granted that, like, at one point you could kind of see the mannerisms in between the two of who was who had the bigger ego, Nikki, and who was trying to be humble, Brie. You could see it eventually, like, because at one point, like, it was this whole thing of, oh, I'm going to roll under the ring. You're going to come in and take the victory for me. And then I think it was Victoria who exposed them by dragging both of them out.
Well, I think Victoria had one and someone else had the other.
Yeah, but like at one point, like when you finally saw, oh, there's two of you, it's like, okay, you aren't setting yourselves apart, but you can kind of tell in their mannerisms who was who. I mean, yeah, with the double alteration, I mean, you could tell at that point. But I've always found it that it's like, you kind of, like with these two, you kind of have to have like that whole dynamic of like, one's this way, one's the other. And you can see it in their personalities, which is not bad.
Yeah. So as we move forward, I think the point where everybody kind of really got a gist of who's who, and like, bless them, but I think the only reason why somewhere circa 2012, 2013, when we really started getting to know the twins, was because of who they were with at the time. You know, Nikki was with John, Brie was and still is with Brian. do you guys agree with that argument? Because it seems like it's one of those remarks that they use to break the fourth wall, of the only reason why you ever reached to the heights that you've reached is just because of who you were with at the time, or who you're still with.
I would say it helped to like take them to that next level. But what I'll say is I don't know that everybody necessarily was like, oh, that's Brie and Nikki because they're dating these people. I think that helped in getting them situated with things like Total Divas and Total Bellas, which is what got them a lot of mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
And so now a lot of people outside of the WWE recognize these two specifically. I would be willing to bet if you asked some random on the street, hey, do you know who Lana is? They're not going to know. They're not going to recognize her from her stint on Total Divas. But the Bellas were your headliners.
Still are.
Yeah, and then they got their own sideshow, so...
I mean, I would say, like, you knew of their prominence together at first, without who they were dating. Like, oh, that's the Bella Twins. Like, oh yeah, that's that one girl who has the twin. You know, if you saw them separated. I think when they, like, were starting to go out with their significant others, and this would be later in their careers, like, oh no, that's Nikki Bella, she's with John Cena. Or, oh, that's Brie Bella, she's with Bryan Danielson. Or, you know, and it's like, at that point, they were establishing themselves individually, but before all that, while they started building their evolution, quote unquote, they were only known together, to be famed together, not individual fame and popularity. I mean, you couldn't have, like, one be popular without the other at the time. Now it's like,
yeah,
after years of, like, oh, them being on their own show, them having their separate show from Total Divas, you know, doing their own individual business ventures, it's like, okay, now I know who Nikki Bella is. Now I know who Brie Bella is. Like, you can distinguish who's who at that point.
So, as we move a little bit more forward from that, it seems like roughly about a year and a half later, some odd through there, we really get a distinction as to which twin is which, because they started playing that whole storyline of Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon for SummerSlam a couple of years back. And this was at a time where Brie Bella really started growing on me. I was personally happier that she was the one getting that push. And of course, we saw what happened during the match. Nikki Bella betrays Brie. But the funny thing is, where you could have had arguably one of the best sibling versus sibling rivalries, once again, much like many things today, this whole storyline got botched. I mean, because usually, like, that's what you would build to is, like, for example, I think one of the prime examples was Bret Hart and Owen Hart. You know, started off together, they're good, okay, they have some turmoil, but then it builds to this great WrestleMania match. With these two, it's like, you almost felt like it was only a matter of time until that happened, and it did, but not to the standards that you would think that it would happen at. So, I guess my question to you guys is, what did you guys think of that stint where it was Brie versus Stephanie, and then it turned to Brie versus Nikki, but then it kind of got botched, so then... Well, as we got to Mania, it was the Bella Twins who were reunited after only 2 months of turmoil to facing Paige and AJ Lee. What did you guys think about that time?
That whole turn of events was a mess.
Yeah.
It just seems like it wasn't properly done. Like, you could have gone in so many good directions with it, but it's like it felt rushed. It wasn't really like, oh, we're going to do it this way and make sure it lasts. Like, no. It's like, let's just... Like you usually like to say, just throw it up against the wall, see what sticks.
Well, you guys have heard the famous adage of why whole-ass one thing when you can half-ass everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that seems to be WWE's motto anyway.
Lately.
Revival. Yeah, no, I mean, specifically with that storyline, I suppose, I was starting to like Bree, but it still was sort of a weird thing. And then you did the turn, and I watched it, and I went, "What the hell's wrong with you guys?" And then, like you said, suddenly they're back on the same wavelength, and and you've got them going off to Face Page and AJ. I don't know.
But would you agree with the turn? Because I thought the turn at SummerSlam was fine. It was exactly what you needed.
I think the back pedal, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I mean, Nikki turns on her.
Right.
And then unturns on her.
Well, before the unturning.
That's the part I'm talking about. The thing at SummerSlam,
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with.
Okay.
That was fine, because then you're like, oh shit, but then I guess they decided that Bree couldn't carry a feud as a face. And so they were like, well, sucks to suck, I guess we'll put you two back together. Those two have never been, like, favorites of mine. I started to grow a little more fondness for them when I started to, because I tuned into Total Divas when it came out, because I was curious. I was like, let's see what's going on over here. And Bree is my favorite of the two.
Yes.
And that's for a couple of reasons. And the biggest one is just I find her to be more endearing.
You mean humble?
Well,
that's kind of what comes to mind for me.
That's part of it. Like, yeah, she's more humble. But when Nikki, I'm gonna break this down a little bit. When Nikki says something stupid, you kind of go, Jesus Christ, Nikki. When Bree says something stupid, you're like, oh, Bree.
Yeah.
You adorable little nymph.
I try to shush her in my mind. I'm like, you're so beautiful. Just
Bree.
With Nikki, I'm like,
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Is it bad that, like, you just put the mute button on Nikki and you're just like, now I can watch her?
That's so much better.
Yeah.
Yet with Brie, you're just like, oh, you
just want to wrap her in a blanket and just boop her on the nose. But like one of my favorite things from the show that just kind of shows that they're both kind of dumb, and it really makes you question how they're that dumb when they're as old as they are. Because
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know. This is one specific Brie moment, and it's they're driving in the car. It's her and Brian, and they're talking about I think they're talking about building a garden or just remodeling the backyard, and she says, yeah, and so we need to get some barbed wire.
Yeah. We talked about this.
And Brian just goes,
what?
Come again? What was that? She realizes at this point, because I'm assuming this is the dynamic those two have, and that's why I love the two of them, is that she knows that she said something wrong and that he's about to make fun of her for it.
As everybody else would. And
so she reluctantly and laughingly says, barbed wire? And he corrects her to barbed wire. And it's moments like that where you're kind of like, oh, Brie, you silly girl. And I can't even think of, like, ones. I think that's kind of the thing, is, like, the Brie ones, like, there's a fondness in my brain where I'm like, oh, that was adorable. And then there's the Nikki ones where I'm like, holy shit. And I just kind of block them out because I can't even think of a specific one right now.
Really?
But she's an egomaniac.
Yeah, there was one episode where Brian kind of calls her out and goes, "You're not humble," to Nikki, and Nikki's like, "Me? I'm not humble?
I'm the humblest Bella you've ever met."
I think I literally think she says something like along those lines, like, "I'm a humble person. What are you talking about?" And Brian never like explodes because he's like the most zen person ever, right next to RVD. But it's like he kind of erupts and goes, "No, you're not." And she tries to fight it back. I'm like, shh,
Nikki, you're gonna lose.
Okay, so as we transition from that time, all of a sudden, Nikki Bella gets this long ass Divas title reign.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Undeserved. What? Did I say that out loud?
No, you're fine. And of course it was an attempt to block AJ Lee's long reign because that's pity WWE.
Man, what a crazy decision that was by WWE.
Huh.
Yeah, she was the crazy one.
Get it? Get it? Because she was...
I just made the joke, Sean.
Oh, what a day. No, but it's true. Like, that's very pity of... Not pity, but, like, more... there's a word I want to put for WWE doing what they constantly do.
Childish? Juvenile?
More harsh.
Sophomoric.
Tomfoolery.
Douchey.
I'm gonna stick with the first three, skip the fourth one, except that one. More like asshole. So yeah, you have Nikki go on this
Historic run.
Undeserved.
don't call it historic, more like
Historic? Sorry.
hand me
Soft
down.
H?
Hand me down title reign. For how many days?
A bunch?
I think she just barely surpassed AJ, and then they took it off of her and put it on Charlotte.
It's because that was the only reason they did it.
Another
was
person
over
that's
Ryder.
undeserving.
Wow. Okay.
7 championships later.
Isn't it 8?
No, she only deserved 1.
So yeah, Nikki goes on this long title reign, and I think Dan, are you?
I'm
okay.
trying to find the exact number.
We'll get that in a second, but very long title reign, which was, it almost didn't make sense to me because it was like, had the Bella Twins had their feud and split up, you would go, okay, one is finding her own success, the other one is kind of doing her own thing, but you had Nikki who was still lumped together with Brie, and I think even
301 days.
beautiful. And I think even Alicia Fox was a part of that. And it's like, it was the most... I think Team Bad made more sense than they did, than the Bella Army. So, eventually, Stephanie, if you ask her, she's the one who was the creator of the Women's Revolution, comes out and says, we are changing the perception of women's wrestling. Here's Becky, here's Charlotte, here's Sasha. And I think we always talk about this, how there's missed opportunity. I thought you could have had the perfect rivalry with having Team Total Divas and Team Women's Revolution. And you could have built up to this awesome Survivor Series match where it's like which era is dominant. Once you would have the Women's Revolution team win, that's when you could have dropped it and gone, we will no longer refer to them as divas. They are women. They are superstars now. But once again, that's just, hey, you have a good idea. We're not going to use that. We're going to go use crap.
We're going to give birth to hands. Classic WWE moments. All of which you can find on the WWE Network for only $9.99.
But why would you?
Well, I mean, you have to watch something.
Yeah, you can always watch Crown Jewel.
Hey, that's not
World
the name.
Cup,
Best in the world.
That's the name we gave it.
brother.
Brother.
At MetLife Center.
Oh, God.
I never realized he screwed that up too.
He had one job. He had one fucking job, including the joke, but he still couldn't get that right.
So he screws up intentionally, and then he screws up unintentionally.
Yeah, he Freudian slipped himself into another fuck up.
Yeah, beautiful. So, as the Women's Revolution begins, it seems like slowly the Bella Twins kind of got pushed out, because now you had the Sashas, the Charlottes, the Baileys, and the Beckys sort of taking center stage.
Yeah.
Bella Twins get pushed out. They start making it so that they make appearances here and there, Royal Rumble entries and whatnot. And now it leads us into today where they're retired.
But Nikki has been vocal about, I'd be open to returning.
The same day she retired, she says this. Oh, did I?
Kids these days.
Brian was right. And I guess that leads us to where we are now. So, overall, how do you guys feel about the Bella twins? And, okay, I guess I'm taking another survey here.
Hey, yo.
If you guys could book one of the Bella twins to come back,
Bree
just
only.
thank you so much for joining us, and we will see.
End of episode.
I don't want to book Nikki for anything.
Well, that my follow up to the question was which Bella twin would you want to book, and how would you book them for one last run? Would you give them a title? Would you just have them main event Mania? What would you do?
What?
Hey, call me crazy, but if you give Brie Bella some time and allow her to nourish, she can have a good main event. Wow.
What if?
I mean, Raccoon did it.
You shut your mouth.
No, hear me out.
Well,
Go on.
before you answer the question of how would you book who and what and why, you have to understand they were trying to come back during this whole evolution, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, what is it to this day? I still don't know.
And they had to try one more time to go on an infamous run and try to take what didn't belong to someone who would ruin matches constantly. And they couldn't even get the job done against that raccoon. So their retirement is well earned, well deserved. Nikki, don't come back. Dan, how would you book this?
Wow.
Well,
Okay. To segue.
hear me out. What if?
I swear if
I
hear
can already
four,
tell you this is not going to end well.
It's not.
What if?
There we go.
You bring them back. You bring Nikki and Brie back for some sort of event.
Yeah.
Maybe the Hall of Fame. Maybe we have Evolution 2. I don't know.
There was a 2?
No,
I know.
there will be though, and you'll book it with the Bella twins. So you got Nikki and you got Brie, and they come back, and it's like, oh look, they're back. They've unretired. I don't know. You could have them even be a temporary pseudo authority, like Alexa was when she was just making matches out of nowhere. And so you've got them, and then suddenly they're at odds. And so then you've got two camps. You've got the Team Breeze and the Team Nickies.
Oh, wow.
And you've got the women kind of sectioning off, and we'll have Nikki be sort of your heel figure. So all the bad guys are aligning around her, and the good guys are getting the edge. They're like, we're gonna put an end to this shit, and then suddenly you hear Joan Jett. Out comes Ronda Rousey, and we book the WrestleMania main event for once and for all. Nikki's gone, or Brie's gone, and who should this match be but the Four Horsewomen versus the Four Horsewomen?
There it is, and there it was.
He knew it was happening, so I had to kind of go to a different path.
I knew it was there the whole time.
I heard you make the comment, so I was like, God, now I gotta spice it up.
I didn't see it coming.
Neither did Nikki. Here's my...
Wow. Okay.
Here's my thing. I get what you want.
What do you want?
What you really, really want.
Wait, Dan, tell us what you want.
Well, tell me what I want.
What you
I really, really want.
What does he want?
I'll tell you what you want.
I wanna.
You know what I want? I want to know what he wants.
I wanna zigga zigga.
Right. I'm not gonna finish the rest of the lyric.
Oh, okay.
If you want to fight Batista, you got to get in this ring.
You gotta give him what he wants.
Wait, nose ring?
Good times.
Was it though?
It was a good match at least.
Yeah.
One rewatchable. Anyways, look, here's my thing. I as much as like only one gets on my nerves. The other one, it's like, you. I would just bring her back, or just bring Brie back. Be like, you know what? I have something left. I have one more run
Botched
left in
Oh.
me. What?
Nothing.
Really no.
Is the story behind this that Bree is trying to finally stand out from her sister?
Yes.
You know, they tried that a couple years ago.
Well, this time they should get it right, Shant. They should get it right. They should get it tight.
Have you seen the show?
Keep it tight.
Have you been seeing the up, down, title defenses?
Yeah, it's Agatha Christie.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome.
You know, I was in the middle of booking something.
Oh,
Sorry.
Good Lord, you two. What is wrong with you? I am the advocate.
You can check out Up, Down, Down only on YouTube.
.com.
.org.
You know what? I lost my train of thought.
Bree
comes back, tries to stand out.
No, I didn't say tries to stand out.
Oh,
I
he
just
said
says that she has one more run in her to prove a point to the new, I guess the woman's revolution. I don't know. Let her go on an actual competitive run for a year. Let her take out the Sasha Bankses who still want to act childish and not come back, even though they're offered the money in the bank offer. Did I say that out loud?
Oh, she made a bank statement for that.
Have her go up against the no-name personalities, the torn ACLs, the moments of bliss. I don't know. And as she's making her impressive run against all the women competition, all of a sudden she runs into. Well, at this point, I don't know if she's gonna be the champion still. I hope she is. If at least one belt goes to the women's rights, why not? Have her go up against Lacey. And all of a sudden, you have your build-up of your championship match at SummerSlam. All of a sudden, you just see her annoying ass sister come out as a new authority figure. You can bring her in with no-name personality. You can bring her in with
Captain?
Who's captain?
Alicia Fox.
Yeah, Nikki doesn't have to wrestle. She just has an enforcer.
Shayna.
No. The one that annoys him the most. The one that has the bad reputation.
Tammy Sitch.
Nobody wants her anymore.
Sunny.
Ronda come out, destroy Bree.
Because she's got bad reputation.
Bree has to build up a team.
She's been arrested 38 times.
Skype.
Go on.
I swear,
is it true?
always.
Yeah,
When
I don't know what the premium is, but
I'm done.
Continue.
Oh no, I'm done. You guys won't let
my Christ,
you finish
Kamash.
my fucking shit without interrupting me all the goddamn time.
You gotta understand, on the AWP, their interruption is a part of it.
we talk about anything wrestling podcast.
Much like every other match in WWE, there's gonna be interference. And a DQ. And a count out. And no continuation of a storyline.
But then we'll restart the match. And do it again.
I think Shant has a problem with the current writing booking committee on Raw.
He does, but based on what I saw yesterday, I guess the lead writer of Raw just got canned too, so who knows?
My point is, you have Bree decide to bring in a team to take on this new authority that her stupid ass sister
Bella,
trying to wail in on.
Bella Avengers assemble.
Yep.
Tell us how you really feel.
I hate Nikki Bella. There, I said it. So Bree has to build a team of women,
Who will be the 5 members?
a team of 4 horsewomen.
Okay.
And ironically, this match takes place at Survivor Series.
Fair enough.
But
One-
these 4 horsewomen take out the authority of Nikki Bella's team, except the raccoon. But the raccoon has an idea. Whatever could that idea be?
She'll be the leader.
She'll be the leader of this new stable of women. What kind of stable? A stable of 4. 4 horsewomen
You forgot one thing.
It's a horse stable.
of mixed martial arts.
Sasha's walking out.
Well, in that case...
Well, in this timeline, she doesn't, okay? Good Lord.
Well, I've got good news. If Nikki's not wrestling, then it's still 4-on-4 because you have Brie Bella take Sasha's place.
There you go. Yeah, that's how it
That was originally supposed to be my booking. Was going to be the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen with a Bella twin on each
Exactly.
side.
That's how I saw it the whole time.
You know, in this current crop, and you know, in the locker room right now, I feel like you still have your Mandy Roses, and like you're still, you know, wannabe total diva stuck in women's era. And I think that an idea of Team Brie versus Team Nikki would be great, and you can have like all the I'm just here for the glam and the looks and all that on Nikki's side, and all like the women, female talent who are like, no, like this is a legit sport for me. I'm here to make an impact.
So who would it be on Nikki's side if that's the whole
Well, Mandy
glam?
Rose is definitely there.
That's the glam side.
Who else could I put right next to Mandy?
Alicia Fox.
Yeah, considering she was a part of Mickey James, she was kind of there. Okay.
I hate her so much.
I would say put no personality in there, but
No, you have to have a personality to want to be a diva.
okay. Who else was there that is?
So we got Alicia Fox,
Mandy
Rose,
Mickey.
No, didn't we say someone else? Mandy, Alicia, Mickey. Oh, I thought you said Nikki. My bad. Shit, I'd even throw in freaking Maria.
Canales?
Yeah.
If she's still.
We're doing the era? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Why is Mandy in there then?
because she's there for the looks, and they've booked
Past
her.
and present of all these women thinking.
Oh, we're just doing the embodiment.
Yeah,
of,
embodiment of the total
past, present,
divas
and the future
era.
of divas.
Okay.
One more person. We need one more.
We already have 4.
Who's the 4th member?
Maria,
Oh, Maria. Okay.
Mandy,
Yeah,
Mickey, and Alicia.
yeah, we could do that. And then on Bree's team,
You have
Trish.
what you want? Past, present, and future. You have Trish. You have Becky. You have Bailey.
would you put Charlotte in?
Oh,
I feel like you have a hairball. Do you need medication?
no,
Do you need what was it last night? Uso cream?
oh god.
So yeah, I would love to book it as like a Survivor Series, like, you know,
Team Nikki versus Team Brie.
yeah, really separate the two.
Who's the real dominant Bella?
End of an era.
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
mind on Team Brie if it's not Charlotte. I would put Lacey Evans in there.
Actually, yeah, because she'd be... Or, if you want to book it where Nikki's still dominant, even though she doesn't deserve it, you can have Lacey Evans turn on her team.
Heh.
With the women's rights.
And then
I am a diva.
I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I don't know how I feel about Lacey.
How are you
I
not
like
buying
her.
into her gimmick?
I like it.
She's trying to be...
Wait.
the
Is it
total
because
Southern
I think for me it's the line delivery is what's getting me.
Really?
Like, I don't mind the twang. That's fine. If you've watched Glow, you know that she's very much just a heel Liberty Bell. If you haven't watched Glow, you have no idea what I'm talking
No,
about.
watch Glow on Netflix. You'll like it.
Okay.
Self-promotioning for Netflix, pilot.
But
Does it glow in the night?
Oh, here we go.
I felt that glow.
Snatch and bald.
But so she's a heel version of Liberty Bell, which I don't have a problem with. I just feel like I don't know if that's her like her real voice is what what she sounds like, or if she's putting a voice on it. In which case, I just think she needs to get better at
She's
the
putting the
voice.
twang on it, but not as much. It's like times she's just like my favorite freaking person, Zelina Vega, who can't keep up with one fucking accent.
Is she really Southern?
What I'll say, I don't know.
Because I watched the Lillian Garcia podcast, and it seemed more toned down. It wasn't like how you hear it on TV. But call me, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but does it maybe have something to do with the fact that she's going against Becky and Becky's your girl?
No.
Okay.
Like I wanna like Lacey. I wanna like her as a heel because I like the gimmick.
Commission and I talked about this. If she took the title off of Becky,
I'd be okay with it.
I'd be okay with that.
Now, if the other one gets the title, I looked it up. She is from the southern states.
Lacey is only 29.
Yeah. How would you think she was?
I don't know. I thought she was like 34 or something.
Good Lord, man.
I mean, she looked good for 34.
First
but
impressions can be deceiving.
For some reason, I just thought she was older.
You into older women?
She's billed from South Carolina, but she was
Does
born
she really?
in Georgia.
By the way, props to her.
So she can pull off the accent.
She could pull off the whole gimmick. I like, first when she was walking in, and then she would just turn around and walk back out. I'm like,
that one was getting old when she was just walking in and walking
Yeah.
in. Like,
I am not impressed.
Now, I think the thing that bothers me is the one noteness of the delivery. Because I don't mind the drawl, but the fact that it all kind of lingers right here just bothers me. Because,
that she drags it along?
Well, yeah, like, the promo from last night was kind of bland for me. Watching it when she's talking...
The whole show was bland.
I'm not talking about the whole goddamn show. So when she's talking out to the 4 girls on the side of the ring before Becky comes out, I'm just like, this is dragging. This is taking forever. I don't know if she was just talking too slow or if there just wasn't enough life to her voice for me to be engaged in
Or
it.
they're trying to kill as much time as they can because they have a crappy show going.
But to Zelina's credit, she has different inflection throughout all of her promos.
Well, for
Zelina
the wrong
doesn't
reason.
know if she's full Hispanic from España or she's from the Bronx.
And I
She
get
don't
that.
know.
And I get that. But the point is, I can listen to Zelina talk because her pattern is engaging. Versus Lacey, where, like I said, it's kind of like there's little lifts, but it all kind of sits right in this range. And I'd just like to see her put a little bit more into the voice. Maybe a little more passion to the voice.
Well, I kind of saw the passion last week. When she came in, she's like,
yeah.
you know, but I'm done talking.
Yeah.
Like, she like, hit the ball out of the park with that delivery and attacked Becky, and it was like, all right, I'm now more invested in your character than I was before. Because I get the whole gimmick of I'm a Southern Belle type of lady to the man over there, and it's working.
Yeah.
And I know we're going off rails with this because this is supposed to be about a twin. Yes, I only want this to be about Brie because I love Brie.
Okay.
But my point being is that I think it just takes time. I think it's taking a little more time on you for her to grow because I think character development for you isn't fully there yet, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Which it's not a bad thing.
It's a good thing. Bling.
You've really missed a lot
kitty.
of episodes.
I was talking about Lacey just now.
Team Nikki versus
like,
Team
I
Brie.
just-
Yeah,
Lacey
that's
turning-
where we were.
Lacey Evans turning
I'll put
on Team Brie.
I'll put one last thing in there. If Lacey would just talk with a little bit more flair to her voice, I'd be a lot more engaged. But
of
the
flares.
fact that she just kind of lives right in this area here every time she talks, it just gets old.
I think the fact that there's no, like, pop to the voice.
Yeah.
Well,
is
I
killing
think
you.
what's part of the gimmick is she's supposed to be contained.
She's supposed to be very
and-
reserved and
yeah.
not letting her emotions get a hold of her.
Yeah,
But
because
that's
she
what
teases
hits
Becky.
you with the woman's
But
rights.
I stand by the fact that there is a difference between having control of your emotions and actually being able to talk with a little more life.
Can we just get you for a whole episode?
Yeah.
with
Can we
this
get you
accent?
for a whole day just talking like that?
If she just spoke from her diaphragm, I think that there would be a little bit more punch to the lines, and then you'd actually feel it, as opposed to just sitting here the entire time, which I know I'm beating into the ground at this point, but
You kind of are.
Off topic, what do you guys think of her finisher, the woman's right? It's like it works, but it kind of doesn't.
It's a strong right hook punch. That's all it is. I mean, it's okay, but if you're someone who can take a punch, it's not gonna win you matches.
Just don't pull a Nia Jax.
If she continues to do that moonsault,
I like it.
I would say that should be your finisher.
Well, why not have Por qué no los dos? Why not both?
You know, I understood what you said, right?
No, I know, but I was completing the joke from the commercial. I don't have a problem with the women's right. I don't think it needs to have like the WMD theatrics to it, but like I feel like something else kind of, and I say this reluctantly because I don't mean it as it's going to sound, something more in line with the Superman punch where you've got something to kind of like stress it. Maybe that would make it a little bit nicer, but I don't want it to be like some long ass fucking thing like, oh, I'm gonna punch her.
But I think that's what makes it so subtle about her. It just comes out of nowhere because what? She picks you up, kind of waits, and just hits you with it.
Well, last night she just did it.
Who was she even facing last night?
Looked like a rip-off Gail Kim.
Does she wear one of those little half glove things?
She does, but not during the match.
Okay. I was gonna say if she wore that little half glove thing, she could kind of cane it a little bit, where she just kind of like
or
torques it back and then punches them, and I think that would be enough.
Or just like hits you with it, just looks at it like,
That's Nia Jax.
There's a difference between Lacey Evans doing it and Torn ACL's doing it.
Wow. He's not even gonna say the name anymore.
What if well, I know Nia's done that too.
It somehow.
Should we just talk about, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the Anything Wrestling podcast, we are going to transition from one topic to another.
Well, apparently we're over the Bellas.
What do you think of Lacey Evans?
I like her.
In general, I like her.
With that said, thank you so much for joining.
No, okay, like, if we're really going to switch, if this is a double topic episode, if I could be serious for a minute.
We're pulling a WrestleMania 13.
Oh, wow. The double turn. Okay. If we're being honest, like you guys said, she has really good character development right now. I guess what annoyed us in the beginning is like we were wondering what direction they were going to go with her. As far as like her promos of coming in, not saying nothing.
Yeah, because they started it way before they apparently had any plans to actually utilize her.
Yeah.
Well, way before, and I think that was the problem.
Here's the thing. You guys recall, they used her in the Rumble. But she had like 2 botches in 30 seconds. So I think it was maybe...
but she still found a way to fix herself during the match, which I think is what had what's-his-name convinced, like, all right, I have a way to utilize her. I have a way of keeping her on and not sending her back to Triple H. Because even in the Rumble, she did last a good while.
Yeah,
she
was...
20 minutes?
I was rewatching it. She was there for like a huge chunk of it. But I think seeing that, the 2 little botches, it was probably Creative's way of saying, okay, we put you in there, you kind of slipped up. I think there were even rumors of Lacey versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, which at first I'm like, no, but now looking back, I'm like, if Asuka still had it, maybe we could have done that if we couldn't do the Charlotte versus Asuka part 2. But I don't know. I'm just like, I dig it. Like I used to be so annoyed when her theme song would hit. I'm like, oh my goodness, here she is again. But now I'm like, oh.
29 minutes.
Yeah. How long was the whole Rumble?
Probably
like an hour. If that.
Oh wait, hold on. It was an hour and 12 minutes.
Wow. Okay. So a third. She lasted a third. Yeah, I don't know. I just she's one of those people where at first I didn't care, but now I'm like, please don't drop the ball with her because her character, it's unique. It's kind of embodied because, she was a veteran in real life. So yeah, I'm invested. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Becky Lynch, but I'm okay with Lacey maybe walking out of Money in the Bank as Raw Women's Champion.
I mean, Dan, how would you be okay with her booking this in 2 weeks?
I'm hesitant. I'm hesitant to take a belt off of Becky so soon.
Yeah.
One or both?
One. If Charlotte fucking takes a belt, I'll kill everybody indiscriminately.
Can I just throw this in there?
Your show.
What do you guys think of Bailey as of the last 3 weeks? She's like really grown on me. I'm like, wow,
It's
girl.
because they're finally utilizing her to a point where she's not a kiss ass. That's right,
Okay.
I said it.
I don't. I mean,
She's a kick ass.
I haven't seen. Did they use her yesterday?
No.
Okay.
She didn't cross over like the guys did.
I was upset that they had her lose
Yes. Yeah.
her first 2 matches, especially when they were
Qualifying match?
well, because it was I'll fight you, and if I win, I face Becky.
Yeah.
And they had her lose to Charlotte, clean. Then they had it go to the following week, where then Becky beats her,
Right.
and so.
I'm okay if
so
she
now
beat
you-
Charlotte and lost to Becky.
Yeah.
Or she beat both.
It was poor. It was a poor push. I don't even know if they're trying to push her, but if they're trying to set something up, I just think that those 2 specific losses when they happened were not a good idea.
Yeah.
As for the titles, specifically Lacey, I don't if Becky's gonna drop a belt, that's the one I'd be okay with, because
To Lacey?
yeah, because I don't want to see Charlotte with another belt for a very, very, very long time.
So you don't want to see a 9th opportunity is what you're saying.
Correct. I want her to lose this match one way or another. That's your phone.
If
And
we
the
could
one that's recording. I was getting anal about the dust on the screen.
If we could see a 9th title reign, I don't know, in a year and a half from now, I'd be okay with that. That's right, I said it, year and a half.
That's enough time. I just I would rather that Charlotte get done with this and she move on to some other unrelated storyline that doesn't focus on a title.
And I think that's the problem too, is that there is no one else on the roster who's being given an active storyline.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking about this, the whole Naomi and Mandy Rose thing. It was out there. It was kind of wacky, but you didn't really give it a closure.
Yeah.
You're like...
You had it right at the Royal Rumble, and then nothing came after it. I think what it is, and 2, we had a mild buildup of Mandy versus Sonya in a way. I don't know. We've kind of had buildups of friends going up against each other, but we can't even book that right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sonya.
I was gonna say you Sasha Bailey'd those 2 also.
But Sasha Bailey'd that immediately because we have seen nothing after Mania in regards to it. My thing is, and you know, I just realized something. Where the fuck is the rest of the Riot Squad?
Apparently...
Actually, where are all 3 of them?
I think Liv...
may have hurt herself, so she's been off TV for a minute.
Okay,
but
where's
she's
Ruby
on
and
SmackDown?
Sarah?
That's the bigger question.
I think Liv was in the books to get a push, and they have yet to do that. Because she even took out to social media. She put it a wanted, like a made-up wanted poster of herself. Yeah, I don't know.
I like Liv. I don't know about everything, but I like Liv. I'd be okay.
Do you really like Liv, or are you just saying you like Liv?
I like Liv. I like Liv.
Okay.
That's a reference to Anchorman.
I think that's Morgan than I asked for.
I'd be okay seeing something come from a Liv Morgan push.
Seriously?
Well, because I made the argument once Becky won at Mania, I was like, what you can do is have the Riot Squad just come out and tear shit up and go, we're tired of being overlooked, we're tired of not being, you know, the main center of attention, we're taking it all.
Like, you could have built Ruby versus
Exactly.
Becky for a while, but I feel this is Vince getting his way again, like, I need my buxom blondes, damn it.
Yeah, that's another thing,
Like,
too.
Here's what I suspect.
He has a thing for blondes, right?
I mean, Carmella just went back to being blonde again.
I feel like that might be a heel turn.
Already?
She's been a face for a year now.
Less than a year.
Here's
I would be okay with
what
the
I
answer.
thought was going to happen
She's
when
still
they split up the
gorgeous.
Riot Squad.
When she did that floss, though.
Yeah. What?
I said, here's what Is this how it feels? Is this how it feels, Kamish?
I don't know. Do you feel? Do you feel it?
The,
Are you feeling it?
The thing that I thought
Do you
was
really,
going to
really
happen
feel it?
when they split up the Riot Squad was that they were going to either they were going to take Liv and put her somewhere else and either push her or fire her or bury her. She was just going to do something else, and the other two were going to be turned into a tag team for this bullshit tag team division.
Well, where are those belts, by the way?
Somewhere, but it's certainly not iconic.
Oh, yeah. For a second, I forgot who the tag champs were.
I fucking forgot about the belts. I forgot there was championship belts.
Well, because what would have
Just
made
like
sense in my eyes is if you had Liv and Sarah possibly break away from Ruby.
Yeah.
That way
I
you
would have
can-
separated Ruby. Put Ruby in single.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Vince has a different plan in mind, apparently.
So now that Vince has his plan for his books in Southern Belle, I mean,
I feel like
Do you
we
see
need to
Lacey
tie this
having-
up somehow because
Huh?
we have a lot of loose threads right now.
I know, but this is why I'm trying to tie it back in.
Women.
Do you see Lacey Evans having a prominent championship run for a while? Because it seems like Vince is ready to strip Becky of at least one belt.
Here's the thing. I think about it from WrestleMania to now. The one person that I can say has been anything close to being solidly booked as champion is Seth.
I thought we were talking about the women.
Well, that's my whole thing, is that
Are
if
you
you
saying
look at...
he's ladylike because of his lady?
Well, he is the man.
But I thought she was the man.
No, but he was the man before she was the man.
So who's the man?
Dan, who's the man? Dan the man. Get it?
I'm the man.
But the question of the man saying he's the man is, who is the man?
Well, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
But
you gotta ask the man who beat the man, who became the man, before he was the man, who married the man. And now they argue about who's the man.
But is the man married to the man?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
I do know the Muffin Man.
Hey, it's 2019.
What the hell was that?
Well, because what I'm trying to get out here is that if you look at it, Kofi's title run has been meh. Becky's, I'm sorry, has been okay. Seth has been tag titles.
I would have almost preferred that at Money in the Bank instead. I keep coming back to this because she's got two belts. I would have almost preferred instead of two singles matches, you do the triple threat.
How do you book it though?
You
Winner
book
take
it
all?
No, you book it the same way that you
Oh.
booked Kurt and Stevie and Jericho.
Oh, you mean the 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
Winner takes.
I would have
whatever they
preferred to see that match than to see these two individual singles matches, specifically because Charlotte's in one of them.
But
Like-
do you think it's a ratings thing? Like, hey, we got to get the ratings up. Just have Becky wrestle twice.
Maybe. Depends where they pace it in the show. That could be a tactic, is they put her on first for one of the matches, or they have her as the second match for the first one, and then they have her toward the end so that people are like, well, I gotta watch the second Becky Lynch match now.
For only $9.99.
I think I would personally prefer that you have some sort of, not controversial finish, but you have sort of a
botch finish?
no.
That's every
What do you
other
think
match.
this is? WrestleMania?
He did it. He did it, not me.
What I would say is, I would like to see some sort of, well-contested match between Becky and Lacey.
Which
and,
I think we will for the
And maybe Lacey almost gets the win. That close.
a hair
And Becky pulls out the win. Becky walks out with both belts again.
with tap out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have her tap her. But you have it like one of those long drawn out submission holds where it's like, oh, is she gonna tap?
Like a
Oh,
Shawn
she's so-
Michaels and Kurt Angle, essentially.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dude, he lasted so long in the ankle lock.
and because then that gives Lacey that push of, oh, look how tough she is, and she put on a good match.
Yes.
Hopefully she doesn't try a kip up.
I want another round with the man.
And that could be your thing for the next one, and then maybe that's when you put the belt on her. I'm not crazy about taking one off at the next pay-per-view after she won.
Here's the problem with it. If you don't take that one off, you have to take the other one off and give it to the idiot for the ninth
You don't have to
time
take either belt
that no
off
one
her.
wants to see.
No, if Becky retains both belts, that's credibility for her. But I just thought of something. What if Lacey loses, attacks someone in the Money in the Bank match, and takes their spot? And wins.
You mean she pulls a Becky?
That could be why Dana's in there.
She's like a Liv Morgan 2.0.
I feel like Dana's there for the other one.
And she's kind of
She's
wearing...
there for purple hair. Oh, wait, no, she dyed her hair back.
Are they trying to, like, take a jab at Sasha again? Because Dana Brooke was kind of wearing Sasha gear with the...
They're trying to arouse her attention. Because she's still on, like, I'm not talking to you. I'm mad.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get Sasha aroused. So you've got to play all the angles.
Anyway. Because, yeah, I mean, Dana Brooke being in there, it's like, that's so
She
random.
doesn't fit into a lot of things right now. Let's be real.
Now, on the flip side, I was looking at the four of them standing there at ringside, and I actually...
There we go.
I wasn't actually mad about Dana being there. I was kind of okay with her getting a chance to be in this match. I don't have an issue with it.
But I feel like that, having those four stand outside of Lacey Evans' match, that was kind of a sign. Like a foreshadowing.
And it could be like that, and
Like
and
maybe she
that's
does
why
lose,
and that's why if this plot plays out, I think Dana's the one that eats it.
because it won't be Natty.
I don't know.
It won't be. It won't be Bliss, because she does deserve like another run at, I don't know, being a competitor. It's been a while. And
Who else is in the match?
Naomi fits right now to Raw.
Naomi deserves it. I'm not even gonna...
Here's who does not even deserve to be in it. She should just be a trainer. Natty.
I'm sorry, but did you watch Total Divas, like the recent episodes where Lana was in there?
Not the most recent
Cousin
ones,
Anal?
no.
Yeah, Cousin Rusev with Cousin Anal. I'm sorry, but Lana was right. Like, Natty, you just need it.
Okay, so you would book Lacey to barely win. I'm trying to tie the strings all back together.
Who,
always.
me or
yes,
him?
you.
I would.
Because I haven't heard his booking.
I said
I told you.
I would have Lacey almost win and lose this one, and then go on to the next pay-per-view and actually get the belt.
Or almost won but didn't. Crashes Dana Brooke, and then takes the spot, wins.
Okay, is it bad that I want this? And I might sound sadistic for this booking.
Like you always do.
Good Lord, that was just fantasy in the game.
Oh.
If, let's just say, the women's rights comes across Miss Little Natural Selection over there before her match. Let's just say, like, she's attacked.
That's
And
interesting.
she's barely able to wrestle in her match. Becky takes advantage, beats her quick, keeps the SmackDown belt. But you saw Becky wondering, why was this too easy? Have Lacey give her the match of the year. Barely wins it also. Like, Becky barely beats her. But that shows, like, alright, I'm the better competitor between me and Charlotte. You can still have Lacey go get the Money in the Bank option if she's that pissed about it. If she's still that energetic to still fight later on in the night. Yeah. Have her win Money in the Bank if you don't give it to Miss Banks' statement over there, just to make her happy.
Miss Money in the Banks.
Oh, God.
I just thought of something.
Next pay-per-view, have Charlotte go on a little tirade like, no, I was supposed to get my 9th championship. This was supposed to be about me.
It always is about you.
Here's the thing. You have her challenge Becky one last time. Winner take all. Becky still beats her. Becky barely makes it out alive against Charlotte in the next pay-per-view. all of a sudden a Southern lady comes in with a briefcase and challenges for the Raw Women's Championship.
It'd be fun if she just shows up, opens up the briefcase, just takes out the napkin, puts it back in, and just
now,
leaves.
if Becky is still a double champion, could you conceivably cash in the briefcase for both titles?
I thought you can only cash in for one.
Yeah, for one.
Well, that's a story
where she makes her
story
claim.
angle that I'm toying with in my head. Like, what if they go that route and then she's like, "Well, I beat you, and I got this contract, and you're one champion, so I'll take both your belts."
But like have her self-proclaimed to be both, even though she's only one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and
Ooh.
she hijacks both title belts, and she just starts carrying them around and
Gives
What
Becky
if,
a reason. Be like, give me back one of my belts.
one of your belts.
what if Lacey wins in the middle of the card, and then Becky's competing for the second time against Charlotte, barely survives, Lacey cashes in the same night. So essentially, Becky has 3 matches.
But why is Lacey being a greedy bitch?
Have you seen the show?
She just won a title. Now she's gonna jump down
No, no,
and
no,
take
no.
the briefcase.
No. We're
No,
saying
no, if
he's
she doesn't
rebooking my
win.
thing where instead of
Going with my idea, it's like she doesn't
She
win the
cashes
first
in the same
match.
night.
Yeah.
Okay.
like Becky would be completely worn out at that point.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
here's the thing.
And that way, Becky
You're-
gets the push of the two wins. Lacey still walks out with the belt.
Yep.
But here's the thing. She would be taking the SmackDown belt.
Yeah.
Because that would be right after her match against Charlotte.
Yep.
Well, if she's got the briefcase, she could designate
Can
which
she
one.
choose? Yeah.
Are they?
Well, then
don't-
there's the wild card rule too.
Because that's the thing. If the SmackDown match ends, then she can pick either one. But if she Seth Rollins is it
no, not
and
Seth
pops up
Rollins.
in the middle, that's where she'd have to do the SmackDown.
Because I want
one.
Becky
Why
to
don't
have her
you do
credibility.
that?
What?
To create controversy.
Have her pull a Seth?
Yeah. Not as anticlimactic as Seth was, because that was. You can only do that once now.
Yeah.
But have her do it, like,
Photo Rock.
at some random awkward timing in the middle of the match. Like, they're both, like, staggering, trying to get up. You just see Lacey run in with the briefcase and be like,
Now would that
oh, now I have a decision to make. Who do I pin?
that'd be confusing. I think that'd be confusing, but I think it would be interesting if you had her come out with the briefcase in the middle of the match,
And not do it?
vocally cash in for the Raw title during the SmackDown title match. And it's just sort of like a mental clusterfuck, and you're like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Well, gee, neither
so
does
then-
the writers.
And so then when the fall happens, then they have to, like, they would have to plan out how they're going to execute that before they get there. Because otherwise they're going to do the fall, and they're going to be like, what?
well,
where
I don't know
are
if
we?
you noticed this. You said you were watching Royal Rumble recently.
Yeah.
Did you notice at one point it was constantly Charlotte versus Lacey?
Kinda, yeah.
That's where you can draw in your confusion. Bring in his plot point of where does the belt go? Way out.
I mean, there's a lot that you can play with that Money in the Bank. It's just a matter of if you do it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's my thoughts on Lacey Evans. What are yours?
Yeah, I would just say I'm a big fan of Lacey. I think there's a lot that they can do at Money in the Bank. It's just a matter of if they do it. So, Dan, your final sentiments on everything?
So, Brie Bella is my favorite Bella.
Mine too.
I think that they should really just probably stay retired, except showing up for, like, the special events, like the Hall of Fames and that sort of shit. Or like the special one-off appearances, the Ron Simmons damn moments. But
Damn.
that's my take on that. Liv Morgan, I'd like to see get a push at some point in the near future, just not at this exact moment, obviously. And I'm not upset at the idea of Lacey at some point getting the Raw title off of Becky. I just don't know how I feel about it happening at Money in the Bank. Given what we've discussed, there's ways that I might be okay with it, but I'm on the fence. Commish.
Go Team Bree. Nikki who?
Wow.
And I vote for the woman's rights to punch Charlotte in the face. And hopefully at Money in the Bank, she doesn't get the Raw belt. She gets the SmackDown one.
Wow. Bree's my favorite out of the two. Nikki, just... No, I can't even shush her. I just gotta, like, whoosh her.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Gone with the wind. Just don't drop the ball with Lacey is all I gotta say, so... Yeah. So, anyway, guys, we swerved a lot in this episode, and I don't even know a way to tie it all in. I guess just we talked about women.
Women.
Women's right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.